the National Professional Teachers Organization of South Africa says teacher and pupil fights are not isolated incidents, but a systemic failure. It comes after a video allegedly showing an altercation between a teacher and a grade 9 pupil at the Glenvista High School went viral. In the video, they can be seen physically fighting in full view of other pupils. The Gauteng Education Department has said it will probe the incident. To tell us more, we are joined by the department spokesperson, Mr. Steve Mabona. Mr. Mabona, good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us. Shocking visuals in that video. I mean, tables and chairs being thrown between a teacher and pupils. Your initial reaction seeing that video, let's start there.
Unbelievable. Quite shocking, yes, indeed. Which is things that we cannot expect to happen in our school environment. Even outside, I mean, irrespective of any reason, you can't fight being a teacher and a learner because our schools are for developmental purposes. We are nurturing talent. We are, contributing towards the future of our country. And people need to behave in that fashion. That's why we have a code of conduct, which parents have a significant role to play and make sure that they invoke the code of conduct. If it's transgressed, they need to make sure that there's discipline. I mean, Saturday we were inducting our newly cohort of SGB members that will be coming for the next 3 years. We emphasize there on school safety, ill discipline that we see in some of our schools. But we can't paint all our schools and say it's a systemic challenge. Meanwhile, we have over 200 schools and over 3 million learners that we are managing. It's not a crisis. There are areas where we are challenged, but we just want to call upon parents to work with us. Let's instill discipline and make sure that children understand on how to behave. Educators, they are public servants. We have ethics, we have codes. We know how to behave. We can't behave in that fashion.
Unfortunately, because these incidents are caught on camera, those are the incidents that will be highlighted, and we don't know what else continues to take place without it being without reaching social media. Do we understand what led to this particular conflict in the classroom? I mean, where are you in terms of those investigations?
No, we just started that investigation. But an emphasis is that irrespective of the reasons, it's unbelievable, it's unacceptable, it cannot happen in our environment. So we'll be taking decisive action. And what we'll be doing to continue those that, need, experience in the sense that we need to take them to correctional services because we have a partnership with our, stakeholders. Social development will also assist us and understand on what are the problems. Because sometimes you have people that have anger management in your space and you look at the incident only to find that there's a bigger problem. So we bring all those stakeholders to make sure that we manage. Though we'll be taking action in terms of what we saw and what they will tell us, but we also need to look at the developmental part that we're doing because we're talking learners, educators. We have wellness programs that we have for our employees. If there are problems there as well, we will then support them. But we cannot leave it and say we are doing nothing about it.
So what some reports have come out and said, so News 24 has already reported that according to a parent, the school sent out a message on a WhatsApp group in April, essentially asking for an important meeting following really wanting to discuss serious concerns around pupils abusing cell phones and social media platforms. There is a sense that within the school, there are WhatsApp groups where these students have created and there is bullying of their peers within those WhatsApp groups. And this is what I suppose led to some of the conflict later on with teachers feeling that the pupils at this particular school are unruly. What is the instruction that we give to schools as officials around things like WhatsApp groups, the use of cell phones in the classroom and in the school property, where it can lead to conflict, not just between learners, but certainly between learners and teachers?
No, News 24 is out of order for writing such a piece without even interacting with us. But it's fine. We take serious on what happens in our schools. To a certain extent that in some schools, cell phones are not allowed in class. And that's where you will see that parents are hands-on. I'm talking about SGB. Though SGB, there's an element of learners, our staff, our non-teaching staff, and our educators which form the entire SGB. But if the parenting, part, if it's active and they play their role, our schools are very disciplined. So they need to invoke their code of conduct because they have a responsibility to say in our school, this is how we want to see our children conducting themselves. Because we have a template of a code of conduct, but it's not a one size fits all. Parents in a certain school can say, let's introduce this element because we can see that we are challenged, So SGB plays a significant role in making sure that our learners are disciplined. But as for our employees, we have ethics and the codes that we need to adhere to.
Yeah. Is the teacher going to be in the classroom today, this morning?
No, we're informed that the teacher went to the doctor. He might be, off, because probably he was injured. I'm not sure, but he might be booked, off. As soon as he's back, we will then, go through the process because that will form part of the investigation. But you can't decide, you need to go through, processes. If one need to be suspended or one must be removed from a school, we go through the process and do that, including that of learner. If a learner need to be suspended, the parent body plays a significant role.
I suppose there's also a sense of, there needing to be a lot of urgency in dealing with the matter, and you can certainly wait for a teacher to come back, but there needs to be a sense of urgency. For any parent who's watching that video that we see circulating on social media, they're not just seeing tables and chairs thrown at a teacher, they're seeing tables and chairs thrown at pupils as well. So what do you say to parents who are at Glenvista and are worried for the safety of their learners and want this issue to be dealt with timeously?
No, we have a sense that there's a lack of leadership there. The SGB that is currently at the school, we need to, go closer to them. If we have to recommend that they must be disbanded, we'll do so. But we need to understand on what is it that they are doing, just to make sure that there's governance at the school. Because we have a sense that there are other issues that we're actually, made aware of, which we really need to probe. Not only this incident, there are other incidences that, people after seeing that, they actually said, no. Actually, that's not the only thing that is happening there. So that's why when you launch an investigation, we look at almost everything and the functionality of the SGB so that we can then assist, the school.
Can you tell me what the other incidents are at the school?
No, I can't say them now because we need to. Okay. They'll form part of the investigation.
Okay. So, but there have been complaints of unruly pupil behaviour at the school, saying that that the kids who misbehave in this fashion do exist in the school, and that the school has complained. In fact, there was a WhatsApp group by teachers, I believe. Comments on a WhatsApp group for members for the National Association of School Governing Bodies, rather. So not particularly with the school, but the Organization for School Governing Bodies, saying pupils' behaviour is a real problem. So perhaps from the Department of Education's point of view, are we equipping teachers enough with what to do with unruly behaviour in the classroom? We've had a discussion recently, even with NAPTOSA, around how we encourage more teachers to come into the system when they see unruly behaviour and perhaps are put off by going into the classroom to educate our learners. So what do we say to teachers? What equipment, resources, skills do we give them to deal with unruly behaviour in the classroom?
No, teachers are parents, and they are well equipped, to even identify not only ill discipline, if a child is not well, because they interact, they are developed, throughout. Look at the curriculum, and if a child is not doing well, they need to recommend that probably the child must go to a school of specialization, or not a specialization, to a school for learners with special educational needs. They will recommend that. So they are well equipped. It's just that you will then have those few incidences which are viral in the social media and think that our system, it's not functional, like as the what we were quoting there, people saying there's probably lack of functionality in our system. Our system functions very well. It's just that you have few incidences which will then paint us, in all the schools with the same brush, and which is totally unfair. I mean, educators are doing well. They are teaching. We can't say now that educators are probably violent and, all those, assertions. But we are working tirelessly with all the stakeholders, including SGB. That's why we are saying SGB must be, they must know on what is expected of them.
Okay, well, we'll leave it there. Thank you so much for speaking to us. The spokesperson there for the Gauteng Education Department, Mr. Steve Mabona, speaking to us here in studio.